Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. I'm asking for your continued prayer. And again, you can pray for me by leaving a dislike on this or any other video. I've been having long COVID symptom kind of problems on and off for almost a year now, and it's difficult because the hardest part about COVID, for me at least, I mean, obviously there are people who are even more disabled than I am with long COVID, but I want to say the most difficult part about dealing with long COVID or any other illness is that life continues to speed away from you as you're dealing with it, right? While you're losing your appetite, and while you're dealing with mental health issues, while you're struggling to summon the energy to do what you need to do, life continues to move away from you, right? I think that's the hardest part of dealing with long COVID. What do I mean by that? Well, so one of the biggest challenges I had last semester was that I didn't have a life partner. And so one of my New Year's resolutions in 2024 was to go out there and network with the right people. It's kind of hard to do when you're dealing with long COVID, right? It's hard to summon the energy. The other day I was interviewing at a different college to teach, and as I got back on the road to go back to Phoenix College, I got lost. It's an unfamiliar part of town, and I stopped to ask somebody on the road for directions, and everybody just honked at me. Nobody had the patience to deal with that, right? So you see, life goes on even while you're sick, even while you're, even just after you lose your job. Life continues to chug away after a heartbreak situation. Life continues to chug even after you've lost money, after you get sick, after if you were to have some kind of an emergency, so your house were to burn down, a death in the family. And I think that's the hardest part, right? If life stopped while you digested stuff like that, it might not be the end of the world. Well, it'd still be a bad situation, but at least you could digest it, right? Anyway, one mistake that I did make last semester, or last year, the year of 2023, at the beginning of 2023, I made a New Year's resolution to accumulate 6 tons of bismuth, and I chose the number 6. First of all, when I did the calculation, thinking, I kind of did an estimate of how high I thought bismuth could go, and I've done videos about that. And I figured with 6 tons, if it went where I wanted it to go, it would be enough to take care of my family and myself. And so I chose the number 6 for that. And there's another reason. I did really well with my life when I was 6 feet away from everybody else. I'm an introvert, and to give you an idea of how good I felt when I was 6 feet away from everybody else, I was in Wallace, Idaho, and the TV would be on, and they would be talking about how COVID cases were still going up. And for a moment I would be like, oh great, no, people are dying. It was like a mixed feeling. And then I was in Wallace, Idaho when I first learned that my former classmate had passed away from COVID-19. And the reason I knew him was that he and I feuded over a girl when we were in college. He was studying chemistry, and he learned how to isolate bismuth from a bunch of used computer chips. Not really bismuth. Yeah, another atom that's 4 protons shy of the bismuth. And he showed me his chemistry setup. And it involved hydrochloric acid, nitric acid. I asked him, where do you buy all those chemicals? And he said, oh, you could buy it at Home Depot. Now, the girl we were feuding over was working at Home Depot. And so when he said Home Depot, I went, he said, oh, yeah, don't go to Home Depot. Go to Lowe's. And so they gave me a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling. And he never was short of girls to network with. And unfortunately, that's what killed him. Now, the girl that we were feuding over often didn't practice very good safety while working with chemistry. So, for example, if she were still alive today, and if she were doing bismuth crystals, I would imagine she'd be covered with burns all over her body. God forbid if she worked with anything that was a little bit more toxic than bismuth, right? And unfortunately, she's the kind of girl who would skip putting on her PPE and get distracted, maybe get distracted with her cell phone while working on stuff like that. And unfortunately, that's the kind of drama that killed her. Obviously, she did it with a car, not with chemicals, but same kind of attitude. And so, unfortunately, death has been all around me. I also lost a couple of friends to drug overdoses over the past year. I had another friend who took his own life because he developed chronic fatigue over COVID, and just a very but so in 2023 I made a resolution to accumulate 6 tons of bismuth, and unfortunately that took a beating out of my mental health because I cut out social life. It took a beating on my life. I have 3 tons now. I think I'll keep it that way. I've more or less just been buying enough to replace what I'm selling, and I'm enjoying my life a little bit now. Besides, the logistics of caring for and moving 3 tons of bismuth are kind of killing me too. Alright, please continue to pray for me by leaving a dislike on my video. One of the reasons I like these Buddhas, I had a dream about this one time. You see, I don't forgive people very easily. So, for example, my classmate who stole my girlfriend when we were in college, I still feel anger and resentment when I think about that situation. I mean, I can laugh about how he showed me how to isolate gold and all that. And so I had a dream one time that I had just broken up with a girl, and I was upset at her, and I wanted to pretend to still care about her. So I said, I'll give you a gift before you leave me. And so I poured a frame of Buddhas like this, but it was out of a radioactive material, and I hung it in her room, and it was slowly killing her, and she had no idea why she was getting sick day after day after day. Although I'm not sure what kind of radioactive material you would use, because it would have to be giving off gamma rays for that to work, right? So polonium-210 probably wouldn't do. Besides, polonium-210 would probably disintegrate faster than you could pour it. So I'm not sure what kind of material that would be.